a social media induced vicarious trauma that damages you and will worsen your mental health.
So is social media really that bad for you? This is your pipe date for Friday, June 20th, 2025. But first, some quick updates. This is all mud here. It's been raining so much in Virginia, here in the DC area. For those that don't know, I am a DIY rock musician. So I do all my own stuff. If you like 90s alternative music, you'll probably like my music. I'm a kid of the 90s, as we'll actually discuss a little bit more later. My first album, Crushing Days, is out. So go give it a listen and follow me on your music streaming service, your favorite music streaming service. And now that I'm finally done with the album, it gives me a chance to take a breath, clean some things up, literally and figuratively, and figure out what's next for the project. What do I want to focus on? Where do I want to put my energies? And to the subject of this video, to think about my social media strategy. As an independent musician, an inevitability of that is being on these platforms consistently, which I don't love, but I also don't hate it. I definitely find moments of joy in creating content like this video, which won't do well, but it's good for me. It's kind of like a vlog or a diary. All right, now to the subject of the video. Is social media really that bad for us? As a child of the 90s, I remember when music was getting much more provocative. Looks like we've got a downed tree from the storms. And there were a lot of political and legal forces working against musicians and artists out of concern primarily for what it would do to the minds of our youth. Metal artists like Marilyn Manson were getting a ton of backlash from the Christian community about satanic and demonic imagery. Hip-hop artists like Two Live Crew were getting banned for provocative lyrics. More realistic video games were getting violent and gory, and there was a ton of concern on what that did to children. And I guess I was lucky that I grew up in a household that was understanding of art. So I was able to listen to Marilyn Manson, play these video games. And my perspective was that it was ridiculous to think that provocative music, violent video games, horror movies, that those could have any sort of profound effect on children. And maybe I shouldn't say children, because obviously you don't want to show 5-year-old horror movies. That's just common sense. But as a Marilyn Manson fan, I never thought that that was going to lead me to devil worship or any sort of violent act. Or anyone else for that matter. But fast forward to today, and things have certainly changed. It's generally understood and accepted that social media and smartphones, while we can debate the extent of the impact, few will refute that there is, or I guess I should say most people agree that there is some impact. We're just not sure to what extent. So watching a horror movie is probably not going to make you a serial killer. But being on social media, that could make you sad. I think most people are amenable to that concept. So my point here is, growing up in the 90s, I think for me has sort of downplayed what the impact of social media or smartphones might be on my mental health. Because those that were opposed to objectionable content in the 90s, I think were a bit extreme. But I also think to say that the content we consume has absolutely no effect on our psyche, I think that's wrong. And the reason I bring that up is because I've become keenly self-aware of the content that I'm seeing online and how it's making me feel. As the mental health community would say, you can and should have thoughts about your thoughts. And very often when I find myself in a funk, I trace back the origination of those negative thoughts. And usually it stems from me consuming way too much negative content online. And I've come to the realization that some of my algorithms are completely screwed up. I've taken time to just inspect the headlines on my news feed, or just reading the titles of videos in my video feeds. And of course I have no one to blame for this, but myself, I took the clickbait at times when I probably should have kept scrolling. And over time, that led to more and more enraging content. And I honestly wish these apps had some sort of algorithm reset button, which maybe they do, and you can tell me about it. What's funny, though, is somehow my Instagram feed is just cat videos and bunny videos. So I've done a good job there, or perhaps the platform is just better at pushing positive content. And so I began thinking seriously about how do I want to change my social media strategy given these new, I won't say revelations, but introspections, and just being self-aware and honest with myself. Because the simple fact is I wouldn't even be on these platforms if I weren't an independent musician trying to promote my music. And I want to keep creating, so I have to be on these platforms to a certain degree. But I think the way that I have come to think about this, and maybe the most salient point of this video, and what I'd like for you to get out of it, is I am incredibly meticulous about my diet, the food that I put into my body. Is food evil? It can be, but I am not at all meticulous about the content that I consume online. Is the internet evil? It can be. So I need to start treating my attention and content diet like I treat my food diet. There's a lot of poison out there, so be careful about what you consume. Pipe out.